Thank you so much, Sophie, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight for such an important event. Like you, I believe in equality, regardless of religion, sexual preference, gender identification, race, or country. I also believe in love and in commitment in relationships, and that same-sex couples in Australia should have legal recognition just as married couples do. Like you, I believe in family, and I celebrate the fact that today we embrace in our society all kinds of different families, including traditional, blended, single-parent, same-sex and foster families. And I also believe, and we all believe, in marriage, not just as a legal expression of a committed and loving relationship between a man and a woman, but as a social institution that we should stand up for. But as I listen to people in my electorate on the Central Coast of New South Wales and indeed around Australia, I'm asked why. Why people say when other countries have legalised same-sex marriage and when everybody wants it, are you voting no? Why are you standing in the way of love? And I guess you can't really blame people for reaching these conclusions because the yes case for same-sex marriage is so deceptively simple. But I can't respond to these people with just a simple two-word slogan, and neither should you. And the reason is simple. Marriage is not a slogan. It's not just a legal contract between two individuals. Marriage is a social institution. It is the cornerstone of our society. It is a framework that, despite its flaws and failures, has worked well for centuries. And the reason it works so well, as we've already heard here tonight, is because at the heart of marriage is a commitment that two parents will work together to the best of their ability to raise their kids. Marriage also says that gender matters. It's a framework that says that regardless of the love that exists between two people, children still need a mother and a father, or a mother figure and a father figure in their lives to best help them understand and form their identity as they grow. And that is what is at stake. If we remove this reference in law and we say that marriage is no longer between a man and a woman, we're effectively removing gender from marriage. You know, a wise person once said to me that ideology is the smokescreen for architecture. In other words, that what is often said is a smokescreen for what is actually being built. Blow away the smokescreen, and in other words, broaden the debate about same-sex marriage to have a look at some of the consequences, and if what is being built matches what we are being told will be built, then all well and good. Unfortunately, this is not the case in this debate, and that is why, as a mother, I want to know that my kids, and in future one day my grandkids, are not subject to this new ideology of gender neutrality dressed up as a Safe Schools anti-bullying program. And I say this tonight as somebody who was bullied very, very badly around 20 years ago, and as someone who knows and still lives with a deep emotional trauma that bullying leaves as an ever-present scar upon your soul for decades, if not for life. I abhor bullying of all kinds, and I'll always stand up against it. But standing up for marriage and standing up to say that gender is important for our children is not belittling those who may not agree or whose relationships and families are not defined by marriage. It's simply saying that marriage as it exists in Australian law also enshrines gender and the role of gender in Australian law. If we change the Marriage Act, then gender as an important social and physical construct no longer has any protection under the law, and this paves the way for programs like Safe Schools that also remove gender. And as a mother, I'm deeply concerned about the impact that this may have. Because after all, we've never had a generation of children that have grown up without gender as a reference point in their lives. And in saying this, I do want to acknowledge and respect those who do not identify as male or female, and I also acknowledge that it's not a black and white issue for some people, and that that's okay. But my question tonight, as a mum and as an MP, is what removing gender as a reference point in law will actually mean. And if we're not allowed to ask that, if we're not allowed to fully explore the ramifications of what that may mean without being shouted down as bigots, then I have to ask, what are the consequences are we as a society also not thinking through in this debate? As a mum, I want to be able to have a say in how our society is shaped for our kids and for their kids. I don't want a safe schools gender ideology permeating our school playgrounds without first being asked my view about it. And if I am asked, my question about gender-neutral ideology is the same one that I'm asking about same-sex marriage. What are the consequences? Because changing the social institution of marriage and gender is not the simple slogan that we are led to believe. And the ramifications go beyond being told that you are either a believer in same-sex marriage or a bigot. So if you're not sure that what you are being told in this debate, that this debate is about what it will deliver, then you should vote no. If you want more say in whether gender-neutral ideology should become the new norm for our children, then vote no. I can believe in equality of relationships, regardless of gender or sexuality, and still vote no, because I believe in equality of people. I can believe in and celebrate the diversity of all the different kinds of families that children today are brought up in, and still vote no. I can embrace the concept of gender while acknowledging that it may not be black and white for some, and still vote no. And if you agree, so can you. Thank you.